Hi everyone, Namaste. How are you all? Hope you all are doing well. So today we'll create this awesome React form validation using Yep and Formik library. Okay, so once I will show the demo how it works. So if I don't enter anything in this input and if I'll try to submit this form, you will get like the errors. Basically the form, field is empty, right? So you'll get email, name, password, these confirm password all are required. Once I start to enter now, you will see like your name must be at least 3 characters, right? So once I fill this, the error will be gone. And again the same thing with the email thing. The email should be proper, right? So if I try it, see, once I remove everything, it says email is required, but once I start filling it, so it will complain invalid email address unless and until you fill a proper email. Okay, so I'll say at gmail.com. Okay, now it's happy with that. And same with the password. I'll say 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, and this is required. Once I start to fill, it says password does not match, right? So if I see password does not, because it should match with this password, right? So I say 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? Now if I submit, look at here in the console. Okay, I submit the form. See, you got the console here. Whatever the fields you have filled, you got the those values in the console. Okay, so this is the thing. One more thing I want to show you. I'll just refresh this. See, the error will not be shown unless and until you touch the input text field, right? If I touch here and if I touch the email input, see, now the name is required. So this is also has been done. So in the same way it goes like this, right? So yeah, this is the thing we are gonna build. So yeah, let's start coding. So initially I'll create a folder on the desktop called form validation, right? So I'll open this and I'll create a empty React project here. So I'll open command line tools and I'll say npm create Vite at latest. So I'm creating a React app using Vite. So this is very fast, so that's why I'm preferring this. Okay, so it may take some time, so let's wait for that. So it is asking the project name. Since I want to create in the present folder, that is form validation, which is on desktop, right? So I'll just say if you want to create a new folder in that, just type the folder whatever the name you want. So just I want to create in this folder only, so I'll just paste a dot over here, right? So in this I'll select React. Okay, and don't forget to select JavaScript over here. So it is installed right now. It is installed. You can see that. See, the form validation folder had these many files. Okay, now I'll open this in VS Code. To open the present folder in VS Code, just type code space dot. So this will open in the VS Code. This project will be open in the VS Code. Okay, so meanwhile I'll close this CMD, which is not needed. I will just zoom it, and here I'll open the command line tools again, the terminal. To open the terminal in VS Code, just hit Control backticks. You will the backtick is below the escape key, right? So you will the terminal will get open basically here. Okay. So before that, I don't need some of the files here. I will delete those files, right? I don't need asset here. I'll just delete it. I don't need index.css. I'll delete it, right? Uh, and in the app.css, I remove this. I'll remove this. Okay. And the main.js, since we deleted index.css, so we'll remove that also, right? And the CSS, I'll clear everything. Okay, let me bring this down a bit. I'll remove everything. Okay, from CSS app.css, since I want to start from scratch. So I'll save this. I'll save this. I'll close this, and I'll remove everything as well in this main entry file, right? I'll remove everything, and I'll just say hello Vikas. Okay, I'll save this. Even I'll remove this. Okay, this is fine. I'll remove this. I'll save this, So before running the project, we have to install you have to install all the packages which are listed in package.json, right? We have to install those packages. So to install that, just say npm install. Okay. So this will install all the packages. This will take some time, so let's wait for that. I'll be back once it's installed. So here all the packages have been installed. You can confirm with the node modules folder which is created over here, right? So now I'll just clear this terminal and I'll say npm run dev to run the project. Okay, I'll hit enter and this will open the project in the browser. Okay, so just hold on this. Hit first of all press Control and hold on this so you can click this link to open the project in the browser. Okay. So as you all can see, the project has been run and you can see this hello Vikas printing over here. Meanwhile, I'll keep this deployed one here. Let's refer this and we'll start designing and implementing. Okay, I'll keep this side by side. To avoid confusion, as always, I'll go to index.html and I'll say for this local development. Okay, right? I'll save this. So this will be our local development. This will be our deployed one. Okay, cool. So initially, what I want to do is I want to create a folder in src folder called components. Okay. In that, I want to create a folder called in the component folder. I want to create a file called basically the component called form validation. Okay. Dot .jsx. Here I just created a simple boilerplate called this file is called form validation, and I've just added this form validation of files just to test. Okay, so I'll import this in app.an entry file, main entry file. I'll just import this. I'll just remove this hello Vikas from here. So here I'll say form validation. I want to import this folder. Okay, see it has been imported here. Okay, cool. So I'll just close it. Meanwhile, I'll save this and go to the browser to check the output. See, the form validation file has been imported successfully. So now I'll go to app.css. I want to reset some global styles. Okay, I want to remove some padding, or you can see there is some padding over here. It is not get it has some padding from the top and from the left side as well. So I want to remove that. So here I'll say padding 0. Okay, margin 0. I'll save this. See, now the unnecessary padding has been removed. Cool. So now here in the CSS file, I will paste all the CSS code over here, since this is not a designing, CSS tutorial. So I don't want to waste time of focusing more on CSS code. Okay, I'll just paste the code. I'll explain you. No need to worry about that. Okay, I'll explain you. I'll just paste this here and I'll save this and I'll explain you line by line. So what is happening here? So basically, as I said, margin padding 0 is for resetting all the things, and box sizing is also for that purpose. So background color, I have given this RGB 246, 246, and 246 for bit, bit grayish color, as you can see on the border. Okay, so for the main, I've given display flex, display content center, align item center, 100 VH to bring the content in the center of the website. So if I little bit increase the size, you can see the content is at the center of the website, both from the for both from the side and from the top and bottom. The content is center. So for that purpose, I just added this this code. And form wrapper, the basically the form entire form wrapping thing. So I just gave some display flex, flex direction, gap padding, width, and the width of this form. Okay, and border radius here, and the border I have given, right? So these are the basic property. And for heading, this is the heading form validation which you are looking this text over here. Okay, so I have given some text align center to center it, and I have given some font size. Okay, some font weight, from margin, the basic styles. Okay, and for the input text, these are the input text. Okay, this name, email, password, and confirm password. So I've given bit padding into that, and I've given border radius, border. Okay, these are the again the basic styles, the background color, height, margin, overflow, and width, right? So whenever the user focus on input, see the the border color of it changes. So that's why I've given whenever the input has focus to apply this border color. Okay, and whatever the error you are seeing here, like name is required, email is required, so I've given some styles to those error as well. Okay, cool. Now I've finally for the button style, the submit button, I've given these many styles. Okay, for padding I've given the margin, radius, so background color, box shadow, cursor, font size, right? uh, yeah, these are the styles. So just you can copy from here by looking at here, and you know, you can just paste that in your code. So I'll just close this. Now I'll come to the main part. Now I'll go to this form validation, right? So this is not required app.js, the work has been done into it. So I'll just close this. I'll bit increase this size, right? So I'll open our local development thing. So here I'll add a form tag. Okay, and I'll give class name to it as form wrapper, which we already written the styles in the css file. Okay, I'll just close this. Now I'll add a p tag, right, for this. This is basically the heading. Okay, form validation. Okay, I'll give class name to it as well. I'll say heading. Okay, cool. Now I'll add actual inputs here, text inputs here. I'll take a section. Okay, uh, and that I'll take input for name. Okay, so I'll say input, and I'll give name to it. Sorry, I'll come down here. I'll give name to it as name. Okay, now I'll give the type will be of text. Okay, and placeholder will be name, and I'll give class name to it as well, like input text, which you already styled in the css files. Okay, so I'll just close this. Now this is for name. We want same thing for email as well, right? So I'll just copy this. Actually this name should be here. Okay, this is one section. I'll just copy this. Okay, meanwhile I'll just close this thing. Okay, so I'll just bit minimize it. Okay, so I'll come down here and I'll paste same thing for email as well. Okay, so this will be email. Okay, and this will be again email. Text should be an email. Okay, now here should be it should be email. Okay, cool. So I'll save this. You can see, as you can see, the as soon as I make change, you are seeing the change over here. Okay, now I'm not getting this content in the center of the website like how I got here. I need to see why it is happening like that. So I'll go to css folder. See, I have added a class called main. I'll just copy this. It should be in the main app dot here. Okay, so this will not be div. Actually it should be a div. Okay, it should be a div, and I'll ask class name to it as main. See, now I got at the center of the website. Cool. So now I'll just close this. Sorry, this css thing, and I'll just app.js. I'll also close that. Now I'll do for the name and email has been completed. Now I'll do for paste the same thing, same code for uh, password as well. Okay, so this will be a password. Okay, I'll just copy this, and again type will be a password type. Okay, and placeholder will be password. Okay, so I'll save this. Now same thing again, there is one more field called confirm password, right? So I'll paste same thing for that as well. So actually this should also be changed. I'm sorry for that. See here, this comment should be of password. Okay, and this should be of confirm password, right? Confirm password. Okay, so again the same thing, I'll just confirm password. Okay, I'll just copy this. I'll just this should be, the type should be of password. Okay, the placeholder should be of confirm password. Okay, I'll give some space. I'll add a caps here, capital letter, the first letter basically. Okay, so I think this is done. I'll save this and move to the browser to check. See, now the basic thing is done, right? Only the thing is we have to design this button. Okay, so I'll go below that, and below the actually this action tag. So I'll add submit button. Okay, so here a button tag. Okay, so the type will be of submit, right? So I'll close this. I'll write a text called submit. So I'll say this. I go to the browser. See, now we can see the submit button, right? So now let's start implementing the most important part of this video is let's start integrating the Formik and Yup library for the form validation, right? So before that, I want all you to visit this website. Okay, this Formik and Yup. Okay, so please visit this website and install these two packages, because with my experience I would say these two are the most used libraries for validation in React, right? So basically Formik is used to, this library is used to maintain the state in the form state in in React.js, and Yup is a library that is used to validate actually the fields. Okay, so please install these two things. So I'll come here and open the terminal. So I'll say npm install Yup, right? So I'll install that, and as soon as this installed, I'll install that Formik as well, Formik library as well. Okay, now I'll say npm install Formik, right? I hope I didn't misspell it. Yeah, so install this as well. Cool, it has been installed. So I'll just clear this terminal, and I'll say npm start again, sorry, npm run dev to run the development server. So I'll just drag this down here. So as I said, this Formik library maintains state, right? So that's why we are importing use Formik hook from Formik, right? So down below we have to use that thing as well. So I'll say Formik. Okay, so we'll use that, just that use Formik hook which we get, and it will take an object. Okay, this use Formik hook takes an object, and in that object we have initial values. Okay, this initial value, and it will be also an object. So basically this initial value holds all the values from the input, right? Name, email, password, confirm password. Okay, this initial values initial value object holds that. So what are the fields we have? We have name field, right? So it will be empty initially. So whenever the user types the name this whenever the user types in this input box, the name will get updated with that current value. Okay, so hopefully you all got it. So after this name we have email input as well. Okay, after that we have password. Okay, after that we have confirm password as well. Confirm password. Okay, it will be empty a string. So after this now this is for maintaining the form states like the name, email, password and confirm password. And this F will actually validates this input field, like whether the name is filled or not, whether the name has at least minimum of 3 characters, the password should be correct, the email should be of correct email type, right? And we have to say validation schema. Okay, validation schema. So yep, which we have imported here at the top, and it has an object property over there, and it also has an object, and basically it validates all the input fields over here, right? So name yep dot string, right? So it's in string, right? So that's fine. Next dot, at least we should have minimum of three characters, right? In the name field, at least we should have minimum of three characters. So that's why we have to use this property called minimum. So in that, at least we should have three, right? Three characters. And what are the message you want to give? So here, if I go to deploy website, here as you can see, name is required. And once I start this, so this is the message actually. This is the proper message which we want to give. So here I'll say uh, must be must be at least three characters, right? So this is the thing. Again, this is required field, right? We want this as required, so that's just paste it required and just say name is required. Cool. So this is done. So I'll show you the deployed website. So once I reload the page, you can see initially is nothing. Once I try to submit, name is required. So it is coming from here, required property. Okay. Once I type something over here, so it said must be of three characters. So it is coming from here. We have minimum method over here, right? So property over there. So just we have to mention how many characters we required, and we should mention the proper message over here. Cool. Now we are done with name. We'll do same thing for email as well. Okay. So we'll come down below here and I'll say for email, even the same thing, a dot string, it will be a string, right? And we'll just say it takes an email as a property. Okay. So I'll say invalid, invalid email address. Okay. Cool. So also this is required field, so that's why I'll say just required, and email is required. Okay, this should be of small letter. I'll save this and explain you. Just as I said, it is a string, and when we provide this email, right? So app library automatically validates whatever the user type should map. It should actually match the email type, right? So it's a responsibility of app library. It will do that. Okay, it will do that for us. We don't have to write the complex logic for that to match the correct email thing. Okay, and again, it is a required field, so that's why I've added this. Now again do same thing for password as well. So I'll just copy this name thing, uh, so I'll just paste that here. Okay, so now this will be of password. So now make sure that these fields are matching. So for example, this password is matching this password. Don't write a different name for that. Okay, this email is matching with this email, this name is matching with this name. Okay, try to maintain a consistent. Okay, don't write a different spelling for that, different name for that, don't give a different name. Okay, so here even password I need minimum of 6 characters, right? Minimum of 6 characters, and I'll say must be at least 6 characters, 6 characters long. Okay, 6 characters long, and it's a required field, so just I'll say password is required. So even for confirm password, we'll have one more field as confirm password, right? So I'll say confirm password. So even for this, yep, string, it's a string, right? So now we have to say, we have to match this whatever the user type in the confirm password, right? So it should match with this previous password, right? The main password, right? So for that we have some more properties called one of. So in that it has an object, sorry, it has an array. In that we have to say app dot ref. So basically we are referring this password field, right? So we have to say app dot refer that password field, what field we have to match, I mean what field we have to refer it. So this should be of password, I misspelled it, password, right? So basically this confirm password is referring this password. Okay, that's why I've given that name, and I will say null. Okay, so I'll close that and I will say if it doesn't match, password doesn't match, then say password must match. Cool. Now I'll close this, and it is required field, right? So I'll say required, and I'll say basically like confirm password is required. Cool. So I'll save this, and we have some errors in the tags, closing tags. uh, I think we don't need this as well. I'll save this. Actually, I did one mistake here, so this whole validation schema should be inside of Formik. Okay, Formik thing. So I'm sorry for that, it should be inside this Formik. Okay, so I'll paste that. So this is done, so I'll save this. So now the final step is, as we have initial values here, the initial state which is provided by use Formik hook, right? So actually we have to bind all the state down below here in the input fields, all the email, password and name, right? So we have to bind there. So here I'll say on change, I'll say Formik dot handle change. Okay, so below that I'll say on blur. So basically on blur means whenever I'll touch any input, right? I'll reload and I'll show you. Whenever I'll touch any input and I'll go to the next input, should complain like name is required, email is required, right? The password is required. So that's why we'll say on blur event, so it will provide on blur. So I'll say on blur. So just say Formik dot handle blur. Okay, so now value should be, I'm sorry, and the value should be Formik dot value. So value dot name. Okay, it's not values, actually it's a values, not value. Okay, so basically we are referring this Formik handlebar Formik value dot name to this initial states. Okay, this initial states. And yeah, I think we are done, and we have to provide actually the name errors, right? We have to provide the tags for that, showing errors. So basically, okay, so I'll come below there and I'll say Formik dot touched. If the user is touched, then he input, right? The name field, we are taking this is for name field, right? So I'll say name and Formik Formik dot, if the Formik has any errors, right, in the name field, there's any errors in the name field, then just show this class which I've already added the styles in the CSS folders, right? So add that class name form errors. Okay, so just close this, and just here add the Formik error. So Formik will give the errors errors in the name field. I need error name in the name field, right? So here I'm saying if the user touched the form and if it is empty, the Formik gives an error, right? In that case, show the actual error. So I added if condition here, if it is true, but if it is not, else, say just null. Cool. Save this, and just copy this same thing down below there. Okay, on change thing, just provide here, and in place of values dot name, just add dot email. Okay, and I copy this as well down below here, and touch dot, it should be an email, right? Here also it should be an email, and here also it should be an email. Okay, cool. Name, email, cool. Save this, and do same thing for this field also, right? Just say password, and here paste that thing, same thing here, and I'll say confirm password, and add this error stage here as well, the password state. So come down here, and in place of email, just say password, and here also say password, and here also say password. Okay, just copy this again and just paste that down below here, and just say confirm password. Just copy this and paste it here as well, and paste it here as well. Right now I'll save this, and finally I'll provide an on submit event to this form. Whenever the user types and submit the form, I'll provide an on submit event to it, and here I will say Formik dot handle submit. Okay, now I'll provide this submit. So actually Formik gives the submit form thing as well, so directly we can add this Formik dot handle submit and just come below this I'll just close this and I'll explain you. So all things should be in the use Formik hooks, right? So don't come out of it, it should be inside this thing. Okay, it should be inside it. So come below this validation schema and just say on submit, and it provides all the values will get from in the parameters which format gives actually. So just to console, oh my god, just say console.log values. So I'll save this. Hopefully it should work, everything has been done correctly. Okay, I'll save this and come to the local development here. So I'll just refresh it. Now I'll try to submit the form without entering any field. If I submit, see, the name is required, email is required, password is required, confirm password. See, once I try to type the name. See, it says when I type only two letters, it says at least three characters are needed. Okay, so I'll paste this and I'll enter the email as well. So once I start to enter, the message changes. See, invalid email address. Once I add the valid email address, so gmail.com, the error goes away, and password thing should be at least of 6 characters, right? So one, see, it must be of 6 characters, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now this confirm password field should match with this, right? So initially it says confirm password is required. So once I try to enter, password doesn't match. Once it match, it is happy, and when I submit it, see, we are getting the output over here, whatever we have typed here. Cool. So hope you all got this thing, like how to use Formik and Yup library to validate form in React.js. So thank you so much guys for watching this video. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more content. Thank you so much guys. Bye bye. Take care.